Welcome back to the show.
Great to be back.
So great to have you back after such a long time. The last time you were here, it was when Hillary Clinton had just won the nomination.
It was the night that we were in Philadelphia, and
right.
I think we probably said she was going to win, right?
Right. Everyone was like, she's going to be president of the United States.
Yeah. Brilliant political commentary. That's why I turned to football.
It is quite a departure for you. Your work is synonymous with covering Washington. You are known to be deep in the swamp and reporting on what's happening. In many ways, the NFL is a swamp of its own.
In many ways it is, and I actually wanted to take this on because I needed a break from politics because, you know, football affords you such a great and easy break from politics, right? I mean, that was sort of the dirty little secret here. I mean, it's all a swamp, but you know, the NFL has gone from being one of the most unifying institutions in this country to probably the most divisive sports brand we have. One of the reasons is politics.
Right, and you look at how, you know, Trump has been an influential person in shaping how, you know, politics is discussed in the NFL. In the book, what I really enjoyed is you delve into subjects and people that we don't necessarily always engage with in a way that, you know, we're not used to. You speak to the owners. They gave you access that many people don't have access to. You got drunk with one of the owners of the team on a bus, and like he just told you things, which is great.
He did. I mean, I was in no condition to hear them, but my tape recorder was working really, really well. Any fans of the Dallas Cowboys here, you should. I mean, yeah, it was Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. It was not one of my finest moments, but it actually makes for a pretty good chapter.
I would have loved it if it was a drunk tape recorder. It was like, well, I was saying.
That's what it sounded like when I first put on the sound. But
what would you say is the most surprising thing that you learned from the NFL owners?
Just how inept they are. I mean, I mean that in the most respectful way. But I mean, these are billionaires, almost every single one of them. A lot of them just sort of lucked into their team, inherited the team, just sort of wound up with football teams. These are people who own probably some of the most like powerful entertainment companies in their various markets. And I just found them to be kind of a motley crew, with a few exceptions.
It's interesting that you say that because, you know, you see the NFL as this giant organization that is worth billions and billions of dollars.
Right.
All of the owners are billionaires.
Right.
Right. You have this club that in the book, I think one of the owners likened to he said it was like a high school what did he say it was?
Steve Tisch, the co-owner of the New York Giants, called it junior high school for billionaires.
Right.
Which I think is probably a little bit unfair to junior high school students. But yeah, no. I mean, it is really, these are smaller than life characters, and yet they have outsized. I mean that in a very respectful way. Yet they have outsized influence on how we spend our Sundays and how we spend our tax dollars, and so forth.
I didn't know some of the numbers that you talk about in this book. Is the NFL as predominantly white in its viewership as you say it is?
It is by reader surveys and by viewer surveys. Yes, absolutely. And every single owner is white except for one.
It's like 80% viewership. Is 70, 80%?
It's pretty high. I think it varies between 65 and maybe 80, depending on what survey you look at. But about maybe 75% of the players, the workforce, is African American. Much of the fan base is predominantly Republican. It's traditionally been the most conservative sport. And it does create a dynamic of great imbalance, one between the owners who own it, the players who play it, and who are damaging themselves, you know, all likelihood in the long term, and not having guaranteed contracts, and the viewership that is predominantly conservative.
When you look at the players who are, as you say, damaging themselves, there's been so many conflicting messages around this. You know, the NFL on one hand is saying, hey, we're doing our best to make the sport as safe as possible. Other NFL owners, and you have some of this in the book, I won't give it all away, but they talk about how, hey, this is part and parcel. This is what the sport is about. People are going to get hurt.
Right.
Where do you think they stand, and do you think that the NFL will survive what people now see the sport as?
I think it's trying to change, I think, but mostly people look to football as an escape in some ways from the rules of society in some ways. And yet, I'm not one of these doomsayers that thinks that football is going to die like in 20 years, because the planet's going to end anyway.
Right. It'll be gone by then.
It's all. But I mean, there is. Look, football. I mean, Donald Trump, before he even started going after Colin Kaepernick and going after the protests, was talking about football as sort of a template for why America has gone soft. He said football has gone soft and America has gone soft. And this was during his campaign. It was at a rally, I think, in Nevada.
Oh, and he was saying you can't tackle anymore, and he was saying like you can't. Yes, and he was like everything is a penalty. It's a penalty. You can't. Yeah.
Political correctness had overtaken football, and penalty flags are like the PC police. And so forth. So in some ways, I think a lot of the same tensions that have existed in football for many years have been mimicked in many ways by Donald Trump. And in a sense, it's inevitable that these reality shows would collide.
Let me ask you this question before you leave. Judging from Donald Trump's history with the NFL and looking at how he was so desperate to be an owner of a team and how he fights with them now, do you think Donald Trump would be president of the United States if they had allowed him into the owners' club?
Well, he could be owning the Buffalo Bills right now. So if he would have to trade, he would have to, I guess, be the owner of the Buffalo Bills, and the owner of the Buffalo Bills, Terry Pagula, would have to be president of the United States if you wanted an even-up trade. But hey, it could be like one of these great thought exercises where in 2014 we could say, look, Buffalo Bills or White House, you got to choose.
I think I know what he's going with.
I don't know what he'd do. I mean, he's wanted into this club for many, many decades.
It's an exciting book, man. Fascinating story. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Trevor.
Really great. Big Game is available now if you love football. You want to read this. Mark Leibovich, everybody.